If you want to quickly move layers, text, or selections around in GIMP, the Move tool is one of the most useful tools you can learn. In this tutorial, I'll show you exactly how to use the Move tool in GIMP, how the different tool modes work, and how to avoid the most common mistakes that happen when you click and drag. If this video helps you, make sure to hit like and subscribe for more easy GIMP tutorials. Let's jump in. First, let's understand how the Move tool works. In GIMP, the Move tool behaves differently depending on the settings in the Tool Options panel. You'll usually find tool options below the toolbox. The first important setting is the Move mode. This tells GIMP what you want to move. You can move a layer, a selection boundary, or a path. The second important setting is the Tool toggle. This controls how GIMP decides what object gets moved when you click on the canvas. One option is Pick a Layer or Guide. With this mode, you can click anywhere on the image, and GIMP will try to move the topmost visible layer that contains pixels under your cursor. The other option is Move the Active Layer. This is very useful when you already know exactly which layer you want to edit, because GIMP will move the currently selected layer in the Layers panel no matter where you click. Now let's go through a practical example and move a specific layer. To activate the Move tool, press M on your keyboard. That is the fastest way to select it. Next, go to the Tool Options and set the toggle to Move the Active Layer. Then open your Layers panel and click the layer you want to move so it becomes highlighted. Once it's active, click and drag anywhere on the canvas to reposition it. This is the cleanest method when you are working with multiple layers and don't want GIMP to accidentally grab the wrong one. A lot of beginners get confused here because they click the canvas and nothing seems to happen the way they expect. If that happens, check two things. First, make sure the correct layer is selected in the Layers panel. Second, make sure you are in the right Move mode. If you want direct control, Move the Active Layer is usually the safest option. Next, let's talk about moving text in GIMP. Text in GIMP lives on its own layer, which is great because it stays editable. But the text layer can be a little tricky to grab because of the transparent area around the letters. For moving text, choose Pick a Layer or Guide in the Tool Options. Then click directly on the solid pixels of the letters, not the empty transparent space. Once you click on an actual part of the text, drag it to the new position. This is very important. If you click inside the empty space between letters or inside a transparent part of the text box, GIMP may select and move the background layer instead. That is one of the most common frustrations people run into. So when you are moving text, be precise and click on the visible lettering itself. Now let's move on to moving a selection outline. Sometimes you draw a selection with the Rectangle tool, Ellipse tool, or Free Select tool, and you realize the selection is in the wrong spot. You do not want to cut or move the pixels themselves, only the selection boundary. In that case, go to the Move row in Tool Options and click the selection icon, which looks like a red dashed box. Then click and drag inside the selected area to move the outline where you want it. This is really helpful when you are refining edits and want the selection to line up better before painting, filling, cropping, or applying filters. Just remember, if you are in the wrong Move mode, you might move the layer instead of the selection, so always double-check that you've selected the selection option before dragging. Here's a quick recap to make everything easier to remember. If you want to move a layer, press M, choose Move the Active Layer, select the layer in the Layers panel, and drag it on the canvas. If you want to move text, use Pick a Layer or Guide and click on the actual text pixels. If you want to move a selection border, choose the selection icon and drag the outline itself. Once you understand these three modes, the Move tool becomes much easier to use and much more powerful. You'll be able to organize your layouts faster, position text more accurately, and adjust selections without starting over. That means less frustration and a much smoother workflow in GIMP. If this tutorial helped, please give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next GIMP guide. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.